Welcome to The Introvert Sisters, the podcast by introverts for introverts, hosted by Sharon and Lisa, two INFJs with a lot to say.
Hi, I'm Sharon.
And I'm Lisa.
And together,
we're the Introvert Sisters.
Welcome to our podcast.
Welcome back, guys.
Well, we got into such a good discussion in our last episode that we just had to keep going, right? We were talking about whether introverts have to fake extroversion on social media, what our approach to social media is, what our social media personalities are. And so we want to just carry on the discussion in this episode by talking about some of our tips for handling social media well as an introvert or as anyone. In fact, some of them apply to everyone. So I'm going to let you lead off on this, sis.
Okay, so the first tip, and as Sharon kind of alluded to, this is whether you're introvert, extrovert, whatever you're doing in business, you have to define your why. What is your aim? What is your goal with your social media? If it is just for your personal edification, that is fine. If it is for business, if it is for branding, then you definitely are going to have to put some thought and strategy behind it. So again, define your why. Is it for likes? Is it for validation? Is it just for relaxation? Is it for business or networking? And based on that why, then you develop your strategy from there, and that helps you to define what is actually important to you in terms of what you post and in terms of the metrics that you measure. So I would say start there. What do you think, sis?
I totally agree with that. You need to know why you're doing it. You need to know who you're talking to, and that will determine what you post and how you measure.
Exactly, because if it's just your personal Instagram and you have no desire or goal of being quote unquote an influencer, then that's perfectly fine.
Yeah,
it is perfectly fine. And so you probably are more at liberty to just post whatever you want. Even with that, bear in mind that employers nowadays, they're going to check your social media.
They will.
So we say post whatever you want, but again, let it be tempered by common sense if you are interested in working with other people and companies. Just saying.
People have got fired because of what they posted on social media.
Absolutely. They'll it'll come back and haunt you in a heartbeat. So don't let that happen to you.
Exactly.
Okay. Something that we touched on in the previous episode is be as authentic as you can. Now, with the understanding that social media is essentially creating a curated experience.
Absolutely.
There is a level of control that you have to put around that. So, you cannot be what I would call completely authentic, by which I mean, yes, you probably are going to have to edit some photos, edit captions, put strategy and thought into the layout of your feed, into your content strategy and so on. So there's authenticity within certain common sense boundaries. What do you think about that?
I agree with you. Be yourself, but in the same way as in a face-to-face conversation, you might not say everything you're thinking in a way that might, say, offend or upset others. Apply the same sort of common sense and the same sort of filter to your online interactions.
And even more so because the internet is forever.
And
so if you, whatever comment, whatever image, even if you post and delete, most of us are not celebrities, but this is how celebrities get caught. They post and delete, but trust and believe that there are entire teams of people who are following their accounts, following their Twitter and their IG or whatever, and screen capturing everything so that then they have the receipts.
Absolutely.
So just remember that.
Absolutely. And there's also the thing that if, for example, you're posting text content, sometimes it's hard for people to understand the feeling behind it in the same way as you would in a face-to-face conversation. So you really have to be
good point.
over thoughtful,
Right.
right? As we said in a previous episode, sometimes you have to over communicate. Sometimes you have to give that little extra thought to how is this going to be perceived, and is this really the feeling that I'm intending to convey?
Then I would say another thing to consider is, be as private or as open as you feel comfortable with. And that also takes on another level of importance with people who have children, especially young children.
Yes.
Please bear them in mind. Bear in mind whether, when they grow up, they're going to want that, those photos of them naked in the bathtub all over social media, for example. And they might not care. But
they will care. They will
yeah.
care. They will care. They may not care when they get to 30, but between the ages of 14 and 18, they will definitely care. Okay?
They will definitely care.
Don't do it.
Also remember that, there are creepy people out there. So bear that in mind in terms of the nature of what you post.
Yes.
Again, talking about people with children, right?
Yes.
And privacy versus openness.
Yes.
But in general, just do what you feel comfortable with. And I would say that's the difference between you and I, sis. You have everything on lockdown. Everything. Right? Now is a bad time to use the phrase lockdown.
Well, I must
what I mean.
With every site, the first time I sign up for a site, the first place I go is the privacy settings.
Yep.
That is my number one port of call. I see what can I stop everybody in the world from seeing. I see what features there are to enable me to share with a select few. In fact, for example, on Facebook, my default is friends except acquaintances, right?
Right.
So I will have things that I will post like that, and then I will, if I need to, I will then make it public afterwards.
Right.
Okay?
Right.
But having said that, for example, we were talking in the last episode about my LinkedIn rant, and that was based on a real experience that I had just had. And so I posted how I was feeling about it. I did change a couple of expressions, partly because I wasn't sure how they would come across, and partly because there's a word limit or a character limit. And so I had to change a couple of things just so that I could get the last couple of words in my last sentence in, right? But that was genuine. That was how I felt. Right. And as you say, it's different on different social media sites. When I'm on LinkedIn, I'm posting about business or business related things or marketing. When I'm on Facebook, there's not everything that everybody needs to see. I have a private group for sharing family photos, and occasionally I'll put something out there with the permission of all the family members concerned, right? But as you say, I keep it locked down tight.
I feel attacked, y'all, because I just post the family pictures without asking anybody anything.
Not an attack, different social media.
No. I'm joking. I'm joking. I'm joking. No, but I'm like, that's like once a year at Christmas. I'm like, okay, we are literally standing up here taking a Christmas photo. You know what's going to happen next,
Yeah, yeah. We know what to expect.
Yes. Yeah, so privacy, openness, you manage it how you feel comfortable with. The one thing I would say is, however, please have a profile pic.
Oh my gosh.
Otherwise, you just look creepy.
Say no to the gray man.
Do not send me a friend request on any platform if you do not have a profile pic. It will be immediately deleted.
I agree with you there. Show your face. Or show a face you're prepared to be seen. Because, I still can't assume that every face that I see on social media is the face of the person who owns the account. But at least make an effort. Okay?
Yeah.
Make an effort.
Yeah.
Make an effort. It's better if it's your own face.
People whom I know, it's better if it's your own face. People whom I know, some of whom have some kind of, avatar thing. That's not their face, but I know them. I went to school with them, whatever. Okay, fine. That's different.
Yeah.
If you are, once, twice, 3 times removed, I need to know your face. Like, please do not put a
Exactly.
logo. Don't put a logo up there. I don't know who that is.
Yes. Who
I
is
don't know
behind
what
that
that
logo?
is.
Who is behind it?
Yeah.
Right.
One thing I've definitely found, I don't know if you've found this, sis, but if it's because people just have more free time, but sort of during the age that we're in right now,
Yes.
the age of COVID. But I've been getting a lot more friend requests
Yeah. Yeah.
from some sketchy looking people. I'm like, you know, and
Yeah,
then I go through, especially on Facebook, you know, I go through, I'm like, okay, yes, we do have 50 something mutual friends, but 50 something
yes.
mutual friends are like friends 3 times removed. So is that really a thing? And I put all this analysis into it, and you know, I never want to be unpleasant to people, but at the same time, it's like, why?
I wondered.
Why?
I did wonder if there was some like unspecified period where Facebook had temporarily let the wall down,
I
because
think that's what happened.
I couldn't understand how these random people were finding me because of the,
Especially you, because again, you have everything. You
you
have your
know,
privacy settings
people are not
very, very
supposed to be able
tight.
to find me so easily. Okay,
Mm,
I have a page. Okay,
yeah,
if you find
yeah.
my page, fine. You find me on LinkedIn, fine. You find me on Twitter, fine. But my personal Facebook profile, you know, you're not supposed to be able to find me that easily. I
Mm-hmm.
remember back in the day, people used to complain that they tried, they tried to find me on Facebook, and it brought up a 404 page not found because I had it locked down that tight.
Well, I'm not surprised. But
Yes,
again, that's what you're comfortable with, and that's fine.
yes. You have to
Perfectly
know what you're
fine.
comfortable with. You have to know what you're
Yeah.
comfortable with. You know. Okay.
And one of the things that we discussed in the last episode, that's why guys, we decided to split this into two, because there's a lot of content here, and we want to make sure that you guys get the tips and actionable items without having to rush through them. One of them that we discussed was preparation,
Yes.
which my beloved sister here is the queen of. She really is. So
Schedule
organized,
content.
always prepared. You know, scheduling is her middle name. I love it.
Yes.
So over to you.
Schedule content in advance. Okay. This is because, especially if you're using social media for business, and whether you're an introvert or an extrovert, okay? But if you're an introvert and you know you don't want to be out there all the time, or you find it all too much, just whop a couple things there in your social media content calendar. There are tools galore. I use one called Missing Letter. We will drop the link in the show notes. But there are many, many, many others that will allow you to schedule social content for different platforms and just have it go out at a regular time.
Yes.
Okay?
Yeah.
You can
Later is one that I use.
Yes, you use Later. Later is particularly known, I think, for Instagram, and then Pinterest. Okay.
And Facebook, I think. Yeah.
Yes, and then there is Buffer. Okay, so Missing Letter is one where if you have a blog, you can automatically create content and set up a campaign. Okay?
Right.
But then if you want to share random stuff that you find on the internet, Buffer is a good one, because you have a little browser button. You can say add to my buffer, and then it will just go out. You don't have to think about it again. Okay. And if you really want to, you can have them send you emails to say, oh, there's nothing left in your queue. Right? So it just makes it easy to manage. And that means that on the days when you don't feel like being out there, content can still be out there. You can still be represented. Right? People say to me, you seem to be everywhere. But a lot of that is because of smart scheduling. Okay.
Yeah.
And let me be clear on this. You don't automate everything. You do actually have to show up on social media. Okay. You do actually have to show up and respond to people. But you can help yourself. Okay. So there are things that I will share live in the moment as I come across them. But for things like my blog content or the content I post on other people's sites,
right,
those articles, I will set up a little campaign and have that stuff going out. Okay? I don't need to share that stuff live. Okay? Always.
Makes sense.
Yes. Okay.
Another thing is many introverts are good writers,
Yes.
right? So this is another way in which social media can be a great thing for introverts. And social media and online media in general, again, blogging, that can be our world, right?
Absolutely.
If you are a writer, then blogging and writing articles and things of that nature often will come naturally. So use that to your advantage. Writing captions for Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, etc.
Yeah.
will
Use those
probably come
skills.
naturally. So use your natural talents, because the things that come, sort of lean into. I actually use that phrase, which I hate. I hate that phrase. Oh my gosh! Please say I didn't just do that.
You did, but it's okay.
Ugh,
We forgive you. We
ugh.
forgive you.
Business speak. Maybe I'm missing The Office. Maybe because I haven't heard lean into in so long. Not.
You had to say yourself, not missing The Office.
No. Missing a job, not missing The Office.
Yes.
Yeah. So use your natural talents and take advantage of them. So
Yes.
that's basically this.
Okay, I want to talk about
Another
the next one. I want to
Yes,
talk about the next one.
I was about to. I was like, this is all Sharon right here.
Take control of your notifications. Less
Yes.
is more. Less is more. I like to keep my phone on vibrate. I usually, when I install an app, I go through and see what notifications I can turn off. I don't feel that I have to have notifications for everything on all platforms. Okay? So a lot of my social media apps on my phone, I have set only to notify me for direct messages. I don't want all the other Facebook notifications or Instagram notifications or LinkedIn notifications. I can pick those up when I go in the app, because social media is part of what I have to do to promote my business. I go in and I check. But I don't need that phone or that tablet or whatever it is pinging all the time. I don't need a gazillion sites sending me desktop notifications. No. Okay. Yes, I have to respond, but I can do it on my own terms. And that is what we're saying. Do it on your own terms. Do not be a slave to the pinging. What do you have to say to this? You agree?
Oh, I 100% agree. I find too many notifications can be intrusive. And especially since, a lot of the people that I actually want to hear from are in Barbados, right?
Yeah.
And so I need my notifications clear. So when you guys are trying to get hold of me, I know, okay, this is something I actually have to pay attention to. If my phone is pinging all day, then I can't make a decision. And you sort of become a slave to the phone. The phone or whatever technology you're using is meant to be a tool for you. You are not meant to be a slave to it.
I agree. I agree.
Right? Quote.
A tool for you, not a slave to it.
Exactly.
So good we said it twice.
It's so nice you said it twice. Right? And so I don't think I have my notifications at the level that you do. I've been in the house with you trying to reach you and can't reach you.
Yeah, well,
that's how no, but it actually is kind of funny to me because like sometimes we're trying to go for a walk and we're trying to communicate and then it's like too funny. But it's like I know that about you, and I just I smile to myself, and and then we get together and say hi, I was trying to text you. Too funny. All right.
Yeah, maybe I go a bit too far, but
sorry?
I said maybe I go a bit too far.
Not necessarily. I mean, again, it's what works for you, and if I need to get you, I have ways that I can get hold of you. Like if something is really urgent, we both have ways to get hold of each other.
Exactly.
The final point, I don't know if you want to take this or you want me to take it, sis.
No, you go ahead with this one.
Okay, so the final point is because this is really tailored. All of this is mostly tailored to how introverts can make social media work for them. Some of it, like we said, does apply whether you're introverted or not. But for introverts, make your introversion central to your brand. If you are on social media for business, like we are, that's exactly what we did. Like literally, it's our name, the Introvert Sisters. And we try to make sure that most of our content and most of what we do is focused on introversion. Whatever we talk about, we sort of try to loop it back to, okay, and how does this relate to introverts and introversion, or being quiet, or having me time? So remember what your North Star is. And in this case, for us, is introversion, and make it central to your brand and to your content.
Absolutely. So we hope that you enjoyed those tips. We have come to the end of another episode. Thank you for listening to us. And
Thank you, guys.
Catch you on the next episode. Bye.
Catch you next episode. Everything will be in the show notes. Bye.
Bye.
You've been listening to The Introvert Sisters. Loved what you heard? You can catch all our episodes on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, SoundCloud, and all other major platforms. Subscribe, rate, and write a review. Find us online at theintrovertsisters.com and follow us on Instagram and Facebook at The Introvert Sisters. See you next time. Peace.